Welcome to the show. Welcome to Your Thought Life Podcast. I am your host, Michael Anderson. If you enjoy the content that we produce twice a week for your consumption, do consider leaving us a rating and a review. It most certainly helps us to attract others seeking this style of content. And thank you so much for that act of kindness. Today, we're jumping into trust building from within. Man, I'm super duper excited about this particular topic. According to the Journal of Happiness Studies, people who rate themselves high in self-trust experience 30% more life satisfaction and resilience than those who do not. That's a huge difference. And it's not just the number that's big. It's a reflection of how much your inner world shapes your outer results. Most of us spend years, sometimes decades, chasing validation from others. We look for approval from our bosses, partners, and friends, and sometimes even strangers, especially as it relates to social media. But here's a solid truth that you can sort of hang your hat on. The most important trust you'll ever build is the trust that you have for yourself and in yourself. Trust building has been one of the cornerstones of personal development far longer than I've been in this industry, literally for 7, 8, 9, 10 decades. And it's the real deal, because if you don't trust yourself, family, it's almost impossible to show up authentically in your work, in your relationships, and it's incredibly difficult to hit your goals. Self-trust is that sort of quiet, steady confidence that says, I can handle whatever comes my way. It's not about being perfect or always having the right answer, because that's a fallacy. None of us literally ever arrive there. However, it's about believing that you're resourceful, resilient, and worthy of your own trust. Trust is built in very small increments. And that includes the moments you keep promises to yourself, where you honor your boundaries, and you forgive yourself for mistakes. One of the things that slowed my ascension down is I was most certainly my worst critic. I was incredibly tough on myself. The least little thing, and I was going to town on how I coulda, how I shoulda, and only if I woulda, and the shoulda, woulda, couldas ruled my life. But when I stopped, let me tell you, when I stopped, things turned around, and they turned around briskly. And I want the exact same thing for you. Think about it like this. How many times have you set a goal, made a promise to yourself, and then let it slide for one reason or another? Exactly. Maybe you told yourself you'd start working out, or you finally launched that side business or that side hustle, or you stopped saying yes to things you didn't really want to do. And then when it was time for you to act on what you said, for whatever reason, it didn't work out. You didn't follow through. You have to know that in those moments, your self-trust was being chipped away little bit by little bit, and your subconscious was making note of that. And over time, we start to doubt ourselves, and that doubt seeps into every area of our lives. So there's work that we have to do, and fortunately, we have science on our side to really help us unpack this and make sense of it. Here's what we know from science. Psychologically, self-trust is rooted in self-efficacy, a concept produced by psychologist Albert Bandura. Self-efficacy is your belief in your ability to succeed in a specific set of situations. When you build self-trust from the inside out, you're actually rewiring your brain to expect positive outcomes from your own actions. And in doing so, neuroscience says that you're able to rebuild neurological pathways that supersede the lack of trust that you once had. And this is a beautiful set of circumstances because some people have a fixed mindset and they figure, hey, this is the way things are. This is the way things will always be. And that simply is not truthful. And this bit of science that we've just shared came to that conclusion better than 70 years ago. I once worked with a client who struggled with self-doubt. She was a high achiever on the outside, but on the inside, she was constantly second-guessing herself. We started small. She committed to a 5-minute morning routine every day. No big overhauls, no lofty objectives, just 5 minutes. And after a few weeks, she noticed that she was more decisive at work. She had more confidence and willingness to stand up and say things in meetings. And she had a different level of relaxation when she got home because she didn't have that sort of burnout feeling that she was feeling before. This is the power of building trust from within. We already noted that it starts small, and we aim to show you with this short story that the ripple effects can be massive in your favor. I feel like we've spent a suitable amount of time framing this for you. So at this junction, let's take a look at some practical application. What is it that you can do to begin to change this narrative so that you can start building trust from within? The first thing you can do is start keeping your promises, right? Yeah. No lofty goal here. You say you're going to do something, do it, right? If you make a commitment, move forward with the commitment, no matter what. Remember, when we do this, neuroplasticity says we can rebuild neurological pathways that say we are trustworthy, and these pathways overwrite the old pathways that said we were not trustworthy and that we needed validation by other means. Big idea here is we need to be able to do things from within where we own and control the locus of control. These little micro commitments add up. They create momentum and they send a powerful message to your entire being, including your subconscious, that says it's not about being perfect. We merely need to be consistent. Number 2, practice self-compassion. Remember where I shared with you early on how difficult of a time that I gave myself with the shoulda, woulda, couldas, with the hypothetical situations I built if I shoulda, woulda, coulda, and how draining that was, and how damning it was, and how it kept me in the same place without any growth. When you slip up, and you will, treat yourself with the same kindness that you would treat a loved one or a friend. You owe that to yourself because the research from Dr. Kristen Neff shows that self-compassionate people are more likely to bounce back from setbacks than those who are not. What's that mean? Real world. You're less likely to fall into self-doubt when you can look past these sort of situations that don't go your way. Compassion is one of your absolute best friends in the whole wide world. If you want to heal old wounds, if you want to change a narrative from untrustworthy to trustworthy, start by forgiving yourself. It's quite all right. And people who overachieve, who do wonderful things, that don't have an issue associated with internal locuses of control, having a need for those, these are the people who live life from a position of freedom, from a position of fulfillment, where they have trust and they're able to fire literally on all cylinders and achieve what they desire to achieve. Number 3, you got to set yourself some boundaries. He also mentioned early on how sometimes people will draw on you for various things, will ask of you for your time and your resource. And you don't necessarily have it to give, but you don't want to say no is okay to be used in your vocabulary as an adult. And the easiest way to do that is by setting some boundaries, right? Boundaries are not walls, they're guidelines, right? That's the line that protects your energy and your integrity and keeps you out of that yucky state where when you do it and you get back home, you start beating yourself up again because now you're behind on the things that you wanted to do and you didn't even want to go do what you just did. So it's a compounding effect. You get to escape all of that nonsense with some clear boundaries. When you honor your boundaries, you reinforce the message that your needs are just as important as others. So, set for yourself some boundaries. Things you will do, things you won't do. And if you have people who are constantly calling on you for various types of assistance, create a day where you can provide that type of assistance within a certain amount of hours. And then let them know, I'm so sorry. I've had to create some boundaries for myself because I am just so busy these days. I want to help you, but I can only do that on Thursday from 6 to 8, on Sunday from 1 to 3. It's highly likely that you're going to have some resistance from some, and that's totally normal. Hold your ground and maintain your boundary. You'll thank yourself for it, I promise you. And then the last thing, and it's a bonus, if you will, is if you can hit these 3 things, be consistent with them, what you're going to find is that there is a need for you to celebrate these newfound victories. You should celebrate every single one in its entirety, whether it's a micro commitment that you keep, whether you let yourself off the hook, whether you set a boundary, make someone upset, but maintain the boundary. All of these are noteworthy of celebration. And I would highly, highly encourage you to do just that. Celebrate each one of these wins. All of these wins cumulatively add up to the environment that you need that pushes you into building trust from within. Last thing I want to share with you before we wrap up is, here's your challenge for the week. Call it homework. Pick one small promise to keep for yourself. It could be as simple as drinking 8 ounces of water as soon as you wake up each morning. Whatever it is you can do, name it, act on it, and then before you lay down for the evening, just jot down in your journal how that went. Did you have any issues? And how you're going to do it differently next time. Everything that we do in self-development requires practice. Nobody is just a sort of one and done. All of us require some practice. Notice how it feels to follow through. Feel all of that good vibration that comes when you do what you say you're going to do, which is going to allow you to build that trust from within. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. Feel free to connect with us through our Linktree app. It's available in the show notes. I like to remind you that you are enough. You can do it. You are uniquely equipped to realize your goals. Until next time, take care and keep building trust from within.